There's no way around it. The Trump administration's missteps and mistakes have aggravated the coronavirus crisis in the U.S. Officials in both parties are admitting that, just some more bluntly than others. So it is essential for reporters to scrutinize the government's actions and inactions. Right now, the media is trying to hold the government accountable, demanding to know where are the tests, when will testing roll out. They say there's going to be an announcement Sunday at 5 p.m. We'll see what the announcement is. But yesterday, Saturday, Trump's Surgeon General Jerome Adams had a peculiar message for the media.
Some straight talk from the nation's doctor. We really need you all to lean into and prioritize the health and safety of the American people. No more bickering, no more partisanship, no more criticism or finger pointing. There'll be plenty of time for that.
He said he needs that. So let me tell you what I need. I need him to do his job, focus on keeping the country as healthy as possible. Do not lecture the media on how to handle this. Because, yes, the press is prioritizing public health. Every hour, journalists are getting information out to the public about how to protect themselves. But criticism is part of the American democratic experiment. It is so important to be able to criticize and challenge our leaders and demand answers. Look at what happened overnight at these airports, where there were Americans coming back from Europe who could well be sick, who are being told to stand together closely in line for hours and possibly spread the virus. What the hell happened there? Yeah, I'm criticizing the government. That is what we are here to do. That is what's necessary in these moments in order to provoke change and improvements. This is how it works. It's how it's worked for 200 plus years. It works quite well, and it works especially well in these moments. You know, Fox's Greg Gutfeld used to say it really well. Before he went full Trump, he used to say, criticism is a guardrail. And that's exactly what it is. Criticism is a guardrail. Speaking of Fox, right-wing media did unquestionable damage by downplaying the effects of the coronavirus weeks ago. Even up until a few days ago, there were people on television downplaying the severity of this, trying to call it a hoax or an attempt to hurt the president. Shame on them. Of course, they're not talking that way anymore. Most of them have grown up and realized how serious this is. And they are now talking differently on Fox. In fact, kudos to Fox News for being on Fox and Friends, and I hope the president watched. Let's talk about this and more. Oliver Darcy is back here with me in New York. Susan Glasser is in Washington, staff writer for The New Yorker. And Vivek Murthy is in Miami. He's a former U.S. Surgeon General from the Obama administration. Doctor, when you saw these images from the airports overnight, what did you think?
Well, I was deeply concerned when I saw the airport images. One, because in a time when we need to be physically distancing people to reduce the risk of transmission, we have so many people who are in close quarters with each other. But second, it was so clear from those pictures that people that's why they need a plan that can help them address this virus and keep all of us safe.
The president has continued to misinform folks, including about Google. He said that there's going to be this, what he implied was a nationwide sudden rollout of a Google service to help you go and find a testing site. Google now is trying to say they're going to help as soon as possible, but they're not doing what he promised. He was wrong about that. So, Susan Glasser, I wonder what you think we should be doing with regards to covering the president and his words and his actions. I mean, should we just try to ignore the president? Like, how should we be playing this in the press?
Look, you know, it's our job to do exactly what you said, which is hold public officials to account. And I can't think of a time in my career over the last few decades when that has mattered more, frankly. To hear the Surgeon General say what he said yesterday was the exact opposite, it seems to me, of what the role of journalism is right now. And it is not only to the lies and the dishonesty are coming directly from the person with the most powerful bully pulpit in the country. And so does it matter if the president lies to the public? The answer is yes, it does. And it is our job to call him out. If we have a president who is misrepresenting the truth about a deadly pandemic, it becomes more important than ever in our history that we do something about it, which is our job is to write it down and to tell the public what the facts are.
Dr. Murthy, since you're here, I don't want to let you go without you helping tell our audience what they need to be thinking about, what we need to be planning for You've been great on Twitter about this. People should follow you on Twitter with your threads explaining what is coming in the weeks to come. What are the most important priorities in the weeks to come?
Well, what we should know is that we are still in the early stages of the coronavirus pandemic, especially in this country. You know, as many cases as we do have right now, it saddens me to say this, but there will be more cases and we will have more complications. While we can't necessarily change that reality, what we can do So these are steps that we can take to protect not only ourselves, but also other people who rely on us, people who are elderly, who may have other underlying conditions like heart disease and diabetes. They need us to be responsible now to help keep them safe as well.
Oliver, it occurs to me that repeating those basics, you know, this is actually a time where you want to be repetitive, where redundancy is very, very important for the press.
It's so important. I think people who have tuned out of this for so long haven't really heard that message. I think that message was concise. It provided people with everyday things they can do to help reduce the transmission of the virus. And I think we really, frankly, need a lot more of it in the press today, especially on this rolling coverage. I think we get caught up in the details because, you know, we've been following the story very closely. But for people who are tuning in for a few minutes, who have not been tuned in, they need to hear the message you just heard.
The basics over and over again. Yeah, and so, thank you all.